Hey, what's going on, guys? Branched off a little bit. Decided to change my channel name. It's now Paco's TCG Vlog. I just figured I branch out and I do a couple different things because there's a bunch of things that I enjoy. This channel is like very filled with nostalgic feelings and stuff like that. Obviously, Pokemon, And another thing that I also did love as a child or whatever back in the 90s was Final Fantasy. Incidentally, I started playing Final Fantasy at the same time I started playing Pokemon. So it was always a big thing for me. So yeah, as you can tell, there's like different cards out here. And let me just start off with this. Hope you can see it. It's Sun and Moon, Crimson Invasion. So basically, this is Final Fantasy. I even have like the starter guide and all that stuff, just in case if I'm like misleading you guys into any wrong information about the game. But basically, I started playing probably about 2 months ago. It's been super rad. Just the nostalgic feelings of playing a Final Fantasy game. The cool thing is, if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, it's really interesting seeing all the characters from like Final Fantasy 1 to now 15 and all the other side Final Fantasy games there are, just like being displayed in the cards and stuff like that. So basically, I'm just gonna give you a quick overview of the concept of of Final Fantasy. I was about to say Pokemon, but basically, it's similar to Pokemon, where it's obviously a card game, but it's I guess more closer towards Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic. It's somewhere in between, I would say, in my opinion. But basically, there's a couple things you should know what consists of the cards, right? You're gonna have forwards. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll show it in a little bit. Monsters, which is a new thing, which just came out in this set. It's from Opus 4. Forwards, monsters, backups, and if you guys play any Final Fantasies, you would definitely know summons is always a big thing. So they all have different characteristics and different traits in the game. A forward, right? Here, let me give you a better forward. One of my favorite characters, Tifa, right? Forward is like your like attacker, so to speak, right? You have them out and they like swing or attack or whatever, but it's not like Pokemon where it's like, a Pokemon would hit a Pokemon and that's it. There's like a lot of like in between turns and stuff like that. And I guess anyone who plays Magic would understand that a little bit more. Me coming from Pokemon, I don't understand the in between turns and stuff like that, stuff that can happen. So that definitely plays a part and whatnot. But basically, you have, and this is, I'm really just scratching the surface, but you have your forwards, right? And I'll explain. They have like basically life point, not life points, I'm sorry, CP, which is, in this case, it's 4, right? You have your like, pretty much just like your power, it's 8,000, right? Your job, right? She's a martial artist. The category, which will be she's from Final Fantasy 7. There's special abilities, and obviously it's stating that it's a forward. And then here's a serial number where it's like, how like in Pokemon you can't have like more than 4 of. Well, here you can't have more of like 3 of in a deck or something like that. So that's that for forwards. I'll explain in another video like how to actually play and whatnot to the best of my ability. But I'm just gonna explain the cards to you. Monsters is a new thing, right? This is a monster, right? So it's kind of like something in between a backup and a forward. Monsters can act like forwards, and they could give side abilities like backups, and I'll get to backups in a second. So they're really cool. And then there's backups, right? So backups basically in Pokemon you have like your bench, right? You have like 5. Well, in Final Fantasy TCG, you can't have more than 5, right? So what those backups really do is instead of like energy cards, there's no energy cards in this game. You generate crystal points, right? I hope I'm saying it right, but you generate CP. And what your backups do, besides the like random side abilities that you can do and whatnot, like you would dull them, right? You would like they go into the field dull, But like if they're activated, you would just like dull them, and that would give you a crystal point, right? To like activate something like a Tifa from your hand to go to the field. So like say I have like like a black mage, right? Say I had like two, right? So I dull two of them, one, two, and then I had like a goblin in hand, right? I'd be like, okay, I discard that goblin, which will give me 2 CP, and then I'll dull like 2 black mages, and that'll be 4. So I'll be like, all right, cool. Now I can put down my Tifa or whatever, right? So that's that whole thing, right? But you have that, and then you have summons. This is Behemoth. I don't know how to say it properly, but summons are really cool because they kind of like come into the game randomly when you least expect it, and that's the whole like in between turns BS. It's it's really like reactive and responsive and quick, so the game gets exciting because you can't. It's harder to predict. Whereas in with other games, or at least where I come from, Pokemon, you could kind of see what's gonna happen, and what outcomes you could look at someone's deck, you could look at someone's discard pile. There is a discard pile in this game as well, but like if the other person or even you have cards in their hands, you would think, okay, maybe they could do special ability, maybe they can do a summon. So I gotta watch out for these couple things. So those are the 4 types of cards in this game, and there's also characters. Characters would be, which I'm pretty sure is like anything that's basically played on the field. So it'll be like a forward, backup, a monster. And so basically, layman's terms, like really quick overview. Your forwards attack other forwards, but what you really want is to attack the like life points, sort of similar like Yu-Gi-Oh. And you would take like if you attack straight into your opponent, right? Say like that Tifa would go like boom, whatever swing, and there's no other forwards to like go up against, like it attacks the opponent. So then the opponent would like basically take a card and like put it out, right? Like in the like prize zone almost, right? And then it's up to like 7. Once you get your opponent to have 7 damage dealt, then basically you won, right? Or like if they run out of cards in their deck. So in that case, that's what completes the game. But the cool part about the responsiveness and being like having damage dealt and stuff like that is that there's these cool EX burst cards, right? Which I love the concept of this. So basically, okay, say I swung with Tifa, there's no one to block, it went through. So the opponent was like, okay, whatever, right? Puts the card in the damage zone. That EX burst just happens immediately. Any EX burst basically that hits the field, like it'll just pop off immediately. So this one, Golem or whatever, right? Will just be like, choose one forward against 2,000 power until the end of the turn, etc., etc., etc. So basically, it can change the game up real quick, So changes the tides of the game. So yeah, there's still cool like foils and whatnot. Just to show you a little bit. There's your favorite characters like Kate Sith from Final Fantasy VII. There's like, let's see, all these other stuff, right? Terra from, forgot which one. She's from, I believe, 6. Shiva, all this stuff. And forgot to mention, but basically, and I'm straight reading off the starter guide, there's like, instead of types, there's elements, which is pretty much the same, right? You have fire, right? You would see it right here. Fire. You have like earth. You have stuff like ice. And basically each type has its own, I would say, characteristics in the way it like reacts. You know what I'm saying? Like the way the deck is built or the way it's played in a sense. Like my deck right now, my main deck is earth and fire. So like what I've noticed with like fire decks, they're just like quick and they just go in and attack. Or some other decks, as in like ice deck, would like, this is a little bit more strategic because they like freeze and that's a whole different ball game. But basically there's fire, ice, wind, earth, lightning, and water. And then there's these 2 special types called light and dark. Those usually are like really good cards. You can only have one light or one dark out at a time, like, so they're special in their way or whatever. But this is just a starter guide, just so you have like an overview of like how complicated this game is. But once you get the hang of it, it's a lot of fun. There's also like stacking and all this other stuff, but yeah, I'll get into that another time. But yeah, I just want to kind of give you guys just like an idea of what I'm getting into. I'm gonna start doing basically the same like tabletop games as I always been doing, just what Final Fantasy trading card game. I might get into some other stuff, maybe some video game playing, some Let's Play or something like that. But I'll still be giving out code cards and helping whoever wants to play BTCGO and all that stuff. But idealistically, it'll be cool to see you guys branch out as well and try out this game. If you see anyone in your local card shop, because Final Fantasy TCG is growing, like, just be like, oh, hey, what up? Like, yeah, can I see your deck? Like, let me see how this is played, whatever. Give it a shot. It's actually pretty interesting, especially if you're a Final Fantasy fan. Like, it's pretty much just as nostalgic to me as Pokemon. So, yeah, enjoy. Here's the last card. Hope you guys have good pulls, and thanks so much.